Hi, thank you for joining us today. We're here to kind of discuss how the cafeterias for Worcestershire affect their impact on the environment. And so first off, I just wanted to understand what your responsibilities are as the manager for the cafeterias.
Yeah, I'm Helen Stirling-Thompson. I look after the cafes across all of the campuses, so Redditch, Bromsgrove and Worcester as well. In the cafes, I look after the staff, obviously, make sure that the cafes are all safe and secure for all the customers that come through. I look after all of the items that we sell, so making sure that our menu development is good on there, which also includes the packaging. I'm also involved in some of the groups around the college, with the Eco group being part of that as well.
And to introduce myself, so for those who don't know me, I'm Harrison. I'm a student governor with Worcestershire as well as a student ambassador. So my responsibilities are to make sure that learner voice is taken into account in almost any process within the college, and that includes our impact on the environment. So for my first question, I just wanted to know what efforts have currently been taken into account in terms of the environment in your cafeterias.
We've done quite a lot of work in the eco side of it. It's something I think catering has always been quite ahead of, in a way, and I'm not just talking about me, as in catering as an industry, but we've always tried to look at different bits of it. So we've had quite a lot of work done already. One of our main things that we've done is we've introduced vegware as our disposable option at the moment. We are currently still looking at that as the world changes, and with the plastic ban coming in place, there's a lot more options out there. So we are looking at it. But vegware is a company that uses is plant-based products, basically. So our they look like plastics. It's a PLA product, I believe, if I get the acronyms right. And the paper bags that we use on the counter are that as well, and the takeaway containers and cups too. So we work with them, which is, as I say, something that we're developing still. We're part of Worcester Plastic Free. So we're part of those. I actually had a little spread in the paper a little while ago about some of the bits and pieces that we do. So we're looking at trying to reduce the amount of plastic that we use, and the plastics that we do are recycled from that side of it. We do a food waste programme, so our food waste in the kitchen goes to our waste supplier. They then filter that through, take that to Severn Trent, who then use it with the national grid to generate electricity. And then the biofertiliser from that then goes on to local farms as well. So that's happening as well. We've reduced the amount of red meat on our menu. We try and keep some on there, obviously, because people do like things like a bacon sandwich. But the amount of red meat, we cut that down, so hopefully that will help with the CO2 levels that are caused from emissions from that side. And we've put more vegetarian, vegan options on the menu too. The bottled drinks that we sell, we buy from companies that are recycled bottles, essentially. And we do, if you want to fill up your bottle with water, we'll fill that up for you for free. So you can come to the counter and reuse those bottles during the day as well. We also do a discount on our hot drinks as well if you use a reusable cup. So that's something. Those are some of the things that we've done. There are we've removed plastics as well. Sorry, removed plastic sauce portions. We used to have the little tear ones, you know, when you go out and you get the little squeezy thing. They're not great. You need about 17 to put in your sandwich, and that's 17 little plastic things as well. So we've removed those, and we now use squeezy bottles, so we can do that and recycle. So.
And my next question is kind of if there are any future plans in reducing this. So have you got any projects coming up that you are excited about, or if you have any ideas that you think would do really good?
One of my main targets next will be looking at the reuse side of recycling. So reuse, recycle, reduce. So because of COVID, we've ended up using a lot more takeaway. Which is great because the takeaway option is a recyclable option, but we've kind of forgotten about actually you can use a plate, and a plate we can reuse that, we can put that in the wash and then somebody else uses it and nothing goes in the bin. So that is I think our next campaign will be about actually if you reuse something, it would be better than actually putting something in the bin at all. I'm going to be looking at our chemicals. Our chemicals are safe chemicals at the moment, and they are as environmentally friendly as I could get at the time. But as I say, things are developing, and there's a lot more eco options out there now. So, and we're also looking at a waste company for food waste, alternative to the kitchen. So say we had some sandwiches left over at the end of the day, they might come in and take those sandwiches and give them to somebody else that can make use of them, rather than it just going in the bin at all. So those are different options that we're looking at. It's endless really, though. I think you can never say, tick, we've done eco. There's always developments in there, so it's always keeping your mind open. But I think the most important thing that we need to do going forward is talk to the students more. And chat with you guys and see, because I've only got so many ideas in my head. There's only so many articles I can read. So, you know, if you guys have got something and aware of something, or want something, or just want an answer, then, you know, it's communication is key.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, and I think it's really interesting what you said about contacting students and getting their thoughts across. And I think when you're in a management or a leadership role, it's important to utilise those kind of resources, especially when you're in a college and your main stakeholders are students.
Yeah.
It's important to make sure that their voice is heard as well, which is one of my passions as my roles, to enforce that and make sure that people take it seriously, because after all, like I just said, we are the biggest stakeholder for this college and our thoughts should be heard, and so it's great to hear that that's something that you also think is important. Yeah.
Absolutely, you're my main customers.
Yes, yeah. And in terms of what is being done to make sure that learners have a say in the impact of the cafeterias, what have you done to make sure that they can contact you or contact the cafeterias to give those suggestions?
Yeah, well, we're always willing to hear feedback over the counter, so you can speak to any of the staff basically that are over the counter if you want to, and if you see me, feel free to flag me down. That's absolutely fine. We have got some posters in the cafes which have got a QR code on, so students can scan that QR code. It does ask you a couple of questions, cheeky, as you're there, just about, you know, the service and any other bits and pieces. It's about 2 minutes to fill it in, 2 to 5 minutes max. But on the bottom there as well, there's also a comment section, so you feel free to leave some comments in there, and feedback, any eco thoughts or any other thoughts in there at all. And then other than that, we're in that eco group meeting, which it's great to see that the governors are now part of that and bringing comments up to us too. So I would use the channels that you've got there. I think you've got a feedback form on the student portal as well. And whether those come to you, not you personally, but as a group, and use those resources, and somebody will bring it up to us and get that opportunity to answer it.
Absolutely, yeah. And in terms of the QR code on the posters in the cafeterias, would you say they're utilised as much as you'd want them to be, or?
We get a small amount on there at the moment. More is better. So the more feedback, the better. You know, it's. Use it. It is there. It will give me something to do. But you know, I think they're probably not used as much as possible. So it's just making sure that we get them out there. And again, you know, maybe we could put a link somewhere else.
I think I've got my last question now, okay. And that's in terms of reducing the impact on the environment. What kind of campaigns have you personally been a part of or engaged with that you think is like the most interesting?
Yeah. So far, I would have said actually the removing plastic sauce portions from the cafe. It doesn't sound exciting. It's only people like me that get excited about things like this. But you know, it was such a small thing. But in terms of environmental, it was huge. You know, we get through tomato sauce, probably about 700 portions of those a week. So it's huge damage essentially, and that would just be on tomato sauce, you know, let alone all the other different ones that we do as well. So to be able to just go, you know what, we're not buying that in, we'll buy this plastic sauce, we can squeeze that on. It's had no impact on the customer. I don't think we've ever had anybody complain about the fact that that's the option now. It's actually given us a cost saving, so as a business, it's, you know, it's worked well for us, and that cost saving can then go into funding more environmental things. So in the initial, it covered the cost of buying the sauce bottles, and even the sauce bottles that we buy in to decant into there go back into the recycling as well. So it's a huge success story. It's reduced massives with very little effort, really, so it's a win-win for everyone.
Excellent. Yeah, that's brilliant to hear. Yeah, thank you so much for coming here today. It's really important that we ask these questions that the students want to hear. And so obviously before this interview I made sure that all the student ambassadors had the opportunity to raise questions they wanted to hear. So I really do thank you for providing those answers, and hopefully those students are now aware of some new things or are happy to hear that to what extent they've improved the college's impact on the environment. So really I do appreciate you coming here today.
No, thank you. Thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity.